I'm not saying they should do it. I'm just saying I assume they would do it.
Well,
Welcome to Read It and Screech, the podcast
for my husband, the light in my darkness. I'm not saying that again. That's awful.
Eva, if this podcast goes good and we can buy nice houses for ourselves, and the only thing between us and that was you saying
I
this.
live in a condom building.
If you're too loud, you can sit with us while I give you the Cliff's Notes and the cringiest quotes, and we go screeching all the way. I'm Grace, and this is my co-host Ava. This week we present Her Salty Take. This is the first book in the Souls trilogy by Harley LaRue. Harley LaRue boasts titles such as
Put in my ass and sold to the werewolf. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
the Loser series and the Christmas novella Paddled by Krampus.
I almost sent you. You know what I almost sent you today? Someone was selling a spanking bench on Facebook Marketplace, and it was used, and it was dirty, and needed power washed.
Was it used by Krampus?
Probably. It was red and black.
It's 493 pages, 12 hours and 47 minutes by audiobook, narrated by Gregory Salinas and Desiree Ketchum. Goodreads rating 4.05.
Those are up. At this point, I don't believe those. I think they're all a lie.
This is a paranormal romance with demons involving sacrifices, bloodshed, and a gruesome quest. I'd like to know what that quest was, because I read this book. I didn't see a quest anywhere in there. Also notable, he calls her Little Doll. The setting is a college town in the Pacific Northwest, and it is dual first-person point of view. Our characters are Raylan. She's in her senior year of college. She has a paranormal investigation YouTube channel that isn't very popular, and she thinks it's because there are so many fake channels out there, and she tries to be procedural and scientific about her investigations. She has a teeny tiny body and huge tits.
Great.
We have Leon. He is a blonde demon. He has tattoos, piercings, and stretched earlobes.
I thought you were going to say stretch marks.
No. He has been under the control of local incognito cult leader Kent, who is using him to assist with sacrificing locals to a god.
Do you know what I accidentally watched this week that reminds me of this? The show called South of Hell, and it very much sounds like this.
We'll see. Leon is bisexual, as are all demons.
Okay.
He is 400 years young. And then we have a mine. The mine houses an old god that has been weak and sleeping ever since a tragic accident hundreds of years ago in which only 3 men survived.
Which 7 dwarves came to work. Hi-ho.
Supposedly, the god let 3 men escape in exchange for worship.
4 other ones?
No. In exchange for worship. His plan is that if they get enough people to worship and make sacrifices to him, he'll get enough power to come out of hibernation and rule the Pacific Northwest? That seems like
he just
his
wants
plan.
Seattle. He doesn't care about the rest
I know.
Small graces.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we start off. Kent summons Leon to help with his latest sacrifice to the god. In the meantime, between summoning him, he's been keeping him in his basement with nothing to do with jerk off. Meanwhile, Ray is heading to her family's old cabin that is in the college town where she's finishing up her degree. Her parents are moving to Spain to spend their retirement, and they left the cabin for her to stay in while she finishes school. She stops by her friend's bookstore and happens to find an ancient demonic grimoire that happens to be donated by the local historical society.
By the local church.
She goes home to her creepy cabin and looks through the equally creepy book while shitting on all her competitor YouTube channels for being too entertaining. And she also vapes.
Awesome. She sounds like so much fun.
She's worried that her YouTube
She can't sit with us. I don't like her. She sounds like a twat.
She's worried that her YouTube won't be successful and that she'll have to get a real job.
I'm also worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about it. I'm very sure, actually.
No. The next day on the way to school, she starts snooping around the crime scene of the most recent sacrifice/murder and meets Leon, who is cosplaying as a security guard by wearing khakis and laced up military boots.
It's weird specificness.
He is super rude to her, and something about his something about his asshole tone gets her hot.
Something about his asshole.
He uses his demon powers to make her trip over her own feet while she runs away. Leon could only jerk off so many times in Kent's basement, so he's low-key grateful to have been summoned out of there. He follows her to the quad and watches her doing her paranormal research. She is fidgety and nervous, aroused and confused.
I hate all of those things.
He loves making brats quiver.
Why did you write any of that down?
She asks if he's fucking lost.
No, I'm regular lost.
She's a stubborn little thing, ignoring her arousal.
Ew, what the Are you not supposed to ignore that in public? Excuse me, sorry. I didn't realize. We should not ignore that going forward. Noted.
He tells her that there was a murder in the local church that she would probably find interesting, And he says he'll tell her about it if she gets on her knees and begs for his cock down her throat.
He said, nice to meet you. Please do this.
Yeah. She says, fuck off, perv.
Good.
But then she goes home and spends a whole chapter touching herself in the shower while thinking about him.
Well, at least she did it at home and not in public. Like
Right?
you said.
At least she ignored her arousal in public. She goes out friends.
Who wrote this trash?
The same genius who brought us Paddled by Krampus.
Hi, Dad. Continue. I'm sorry. Right now, tell me right now, if you sought out Paddled by Krampus, please never speak to me. We have nothing in common.
It's on the list for Screechmas this year.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
She goes out with her friends later that night and runs into Leon and his friend Zane. They go outside to smoke pot and they make fun of her vape.
Good.
She wants to know if they're brothers and they say no because we fuck. His body is hot and hard and utterly tempting, and she is hooked like a fish on a line. He sounds like crisp lemonade.
He sounds like a little shit.
And he smells like citrus and smoke.
I don't believe you.
She lets Leon, in parentheses, rent a cop.
I thought you were going to say imprint on her.
No,
this is horrible.
As far as she knows, he's a part-time security guard. Nothing is hotter.
Really? Is nothing hotter?
She says he's a man in uniform.
I feel like a candle from Bath and Body Works is hotter.
She lets Leon finger her in the alley while Zane watches.
Absolutely not. Dirty hands. You know, those hands were grimy and the nail beds were dirty.
I don't know.
I know. I know.
After this little interaction, Kent has one of his daughters, who happens to be a witch, summon Leon to their family meeting.
I also would summon someone after that and be like, explain yourself.
Now, at this point, Leon hasn't washed his hands. We know that.
Ew!
Kent had to have his daughter do it because he's lost the grimoire, and that's how he's been controlling Leon all these years. He tries to make him snatch Raylan to be the next sacrifice, but Leon says, fuck you, and the pussy you came from, and he dips because Dobby is a free elf now. Later on, Ray is walking home and sees...
First off, he probably has fucked the puss that guy came from the way that this sounds.
Ew. Later on, Ray is walking home and sees the corpse of a decaying monster in the woods and decides it's an art project. Leon finds her walking alone and makes her let him give her a ride home. He knows where she lives and doesn't ask for directions, and she does not question this at all.
Of course not.
Kent's two non-witch kids have befriended her. His son especially keeps leching around her and saves her number when she was giving it to someone else.
Cool.
She decides she's going to make a video in the creepy local church in the woods near her house to make some clickbait. So she's going to do a summoning ritual but leave out the blood part so that it doesn't accidentally work. She decides that anyone who would warn her against this idea is sexist. So she sets up the camera and does the ritual and accidentally scrapes her knuckles against the floor, putting her blood into the summoning circle. It would be hilarious if she summoned a random demon, but she didn't. It was Leon. So he hung around town anyway because as long as his name is in the grimoire, that means anyone can summon him and control him. He did not think it would be her. She assumes that he's just a creepy campus security guard who follows co-eds around to lech on them, and he's playing a prank on her. But you let him finger you in an alley, so...
Right.
He tells her not to fuck with things she does not understand. Fair. His cock gives an interested twitch as her alluring smell surrounds him, and she runs away back to her house.
I'm sorry. Why do people say that?
Cock twitching?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Horrible.
The next day, she reviews the video that she made frame by frame, and she sees a split second where he was in his demon form. So despite the events leading up to this point, she keeps walking alone to and from school. He tells her he just wants the grimoire and tries to act horny with her, but she runs away again. Of course, he's pretty much been stalking her without her knowing and is irritated that she keeps walking around alone. He follows her back to the church where she attacks him with a wooden cross, which does absolutely nothing. She decides to confront him about being a demon, something he has not once tried to hide from her. She growls, and he shows her that he has a forked tongue.
And she's like, immediately lick me with it.
Yeah. Their horny flirting is interrupted by that corpse that she had assumed was an art piece, which turned out was basically a hellhound called an Eld. Turns out that because she used the grimoire, she's made herself a target for them. Leon runs outside the church graveyard and kills it, but not before it rips off his shirt to show off his hot body.
God.
He tells her that she should leave town or give him her soul for safety reasons.
Safety reasons.
She says, no, I'm not gonna do that, but I will fuck you. She wants him to wreck her little cunt.
Oh my God. Maybe don't say that out loud.
They have sex in the graveyard and he cream pies her.
No! Why do you read me this shit?
I had to read it. 500 pages worth. Thankfully, demons can't get humans pregnant.
Well, I don't believe you. I've seen Twilight.
Unless they're a witch, so there's no need for her to get the Plan B pill. He tells her that if she's not going to leave town or give him her soul, she should at least be more careful. He also says that Kent and his family are a sketchy cult and that she needs to stay away from them. She's not going to be told what to do, but she does say she's willing to give him back the grimoire. Bad timing, though, because by the time they get back to her house, it's gone.
Of course.
So now she's triple fucked because she has no grimoire, no protective amulets, and is being hunted by the Eld. Oh yeah, and that weird cult family Loki wants to sacrifice her down the mineshaft. She decides this is all highly unlikely and is only slightly
Is she
worried
doing
about it.
any of her schoolwork?
It's in between times.
She blows.
He finds her on campus the next day and tries again to make her give him her soul. She still says no. She says, I can just Google how to deal with all of this. He says that only she and Kent have ever survived summoning him. Kent couldn't be killed because he has a protective amulet, and she couldn't be killed because of her sweet cunt.
Oh my god, no! I'm sure you get this a lot. Well, I'd like to kill you, but that downstairs got me,
She goes home and thankfully locks her damn door because, of course, the Eld are after her. Just as mysteriously as they appear, they stop because Leon is still watching her and killing them whenever they show up. Kent's icky son starts texting her and giving the ick. Meanwhile, she decides next time the Eld show up, she'll just take care of it herself. He does not give her the chance to do this because he never left. She decides she prefers monsters who want to fuck her rather than kill her.
Oh, what a weird thing.
He puts a bunch of Eld heads on stakes all around her yard in order to dissuade them from hanging around so much. And instead of being grateful for this gesture, she yells at him and tells him it made her yard ugly.
Okay.
She does invite him inside to clean up because he's grody from hunting the Eld for like 36 hours straight. Turns out all of his piercings are from demons marking each other after fucking. She shows him exactly one shred of human decency by helping him clean his wounds while straddling him in her bed.
No!
He spits in her mouth.
No!
And her pussy is still sore, so he licks her puckered hole and sticks a finger in her ass.
Jail!
He's gonna fill that tight little hole up with
No,
cum.
No.
And this comes to pass.
Absolutely not.
Leon sleeps for 2 days to recover from the Eld hunting and the aggressive anal sex they had.
I'm gonna sleep for 2 days after you reading this.
While he's asleep, she makes another binding circle via learning from Google, because she's gonna trap him to make him stay and protect her. He wakes up and is pissed that she used the anal afterglow to trap him, and he very easily makes her cat break the chalk circle. He throws her over his knee and spanks her in punishment, and calls her a pathetic, horny mortal who just wants to get off. After the spanking, he tells her that one of the reasons he wants her soul is because if she gives it to him, it means that she'll live forever and he won't have to watch her die. He learned this because he liked this guy in 1700s France, and the guy he liked got old and died, as people in 1700s France were want to do. He was probably like 35, which was dying of old age at that time.
Jesus.
So later on, she finds this gross charm with a fish eyeball hanging on her porch and freaks out and goes to her friend's house. Turns out it was a protection charm from Leon, and so her throwing it out was not a great idea. On her way home, she ends up being chased by a bunch of golems. Leon is still lurking around. He's looking for the grimoire by day and watching her house by night. He meets up with Zane, who is consorting with his own human, and tells him that most likely the witch daughter of Kent is probably the one who has the grimoire. Since she's a witch, it's low-key kind of hers. Anyway, the catch is that she has an archdemon boyfriend of her own that will probably get pissy if Leon tries to get the book. They share an intimate goodbye, he and Zane, and Leon heads off to find the book. He sneaks into the house.
You get a demon boyfriend. You get a demon boyfriend. You get a demon boyfriend. Everybody gets a demon boyfriend.
It is the Souls trilogy, so Demons 3. He sneaks into the house and
This is why Sarah J. Maas won't let Azrael and Elaine be together.
Why?
Because everyone always just goes, and my friends and your brother are going to get married.
Right. So he sneaks into the house where this archdemon is, and the archdemon absolutely beats the dog shit out of him. The witch doesn't let him have the book, but she does give him the page that has his name on it. So, like, basically, Raylan, with no hesitation, goes to a Halloween party at Kent's house, dressed as Velma from Scooby-Doo. She takes a drink that his son made, because what could go wrong? Surprise, it was drugged. Zane, who happened to be there with his little human girlfriend, makes her throw it up. Leon shows up after this and lectures her for her stupidity, and he is not wrong even a little bit. Then he fucks her shuddering pussy till she cries tears of joy.
No! What?
I had to say it really fast. He fucks her shuddering pussy.
Stop! Oh my god!
Till she cries tears of joy.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. It's horrible.
They sneak into that basement where Leon used to spend his days jerking off.
No.
And she steals a magic knife to use for protection.
And crusty ass basement warded him.
They go to leave and Kent is there waiting for them. Something that should not surprise them at all because this is his damn house and not once did they check to see if he was home or if there were cameras watching them. He pulls a gun on them and tells her that being a sacrifice is inevitable and then just lets them leave. Bye, have a good day.
But not today.
Leon says, okay, you have to get the fuck out of here. And she says, no, and you still can't have my soul. And they run into another golem, which Leon kills, and she passes out. She wakes up in a hotel in the next town over, where Leon has brought her for safety reasons.
Sure.
He bought her all new clothes in the exact right sizes.
Oh my god!
She's embarrassed by this, and he responds with, why are you embarrassed? I thought I fucked all of the shame out of you.
I licked your butthole.
He buys a bunch of giant sex toys.
No!
He's gonna pierce her nipples whilst in the throes of passion. Her mouth goes dry, but her pussy doesn't.
No!
He can smell her wet cunt.
No!
I don't know where you suspended your disbelief for the story. My limit was getting a nipple piercing while mid-bounce on a suction cup dildo. But it comes to pass.
Ew! No, there was another one that did that. It wasn't piercings. They were doing some tattoos, I think.
Ugh.
And I was like...
A fine line tattoo. The next morning, they get a call from Kent's non-witch daughter, who's running from someone and tells her that someone killed her dad and then hangs up. So Ray celebrates prematurely and says she wants to go back. But Leon tells her that just because Kent is dead doesn't mean that the cult isn't still functioning and wanting to sacrifice her. She says, boo, I want to go back and you should come with me. They head back to town and stop at a grocery store for some snacks. She better get in there or the only snack she'll get is his cum down her throat.
He did not say that.
He did say that, yes. I didn't make it up. I didn't say it.
It's a car wreck. This book is a car accident.
Kent's son accosts her at the store and calls her a precious little human fleshlight. It's evident that he's been possessed / corrupted by the god. And there's a big kerfuffle where Leon takes forever to figure out what's going on to come inside and help her. And then they just leave. Bye. Have a good day. Once again. They go back to her house. And no sooner do they settle in than does a Reaper come after them. So apparently, Reapers are the highest level of demon, and there's no way that soy boy beta demon Leon can kill it. So he tells her to take his page out of the grimoire and drive as far away as she can and then summon him again. So if he survives fighting, then she can call him back to her, which is not the worst idea. The Reaper beats the brakes off of him but doesn't kill him. Ray drives like a mile away and then decides she won't leave Leon, even though the Reaper didn't kill him.
We had a plan, you stupid bitch!
The Reaper did not kill him. So she literally could have just driven to, like, Montana and summoned him over there and been perfectly fucking fine. She finds him in a heap and asks how to give him her soul. She finally decided to do it. But he can't tell her on account of being unconscious.
Having no teeth?
Kent's son immediately finds her and takes her. They take her back to the church.
Is he making everyone's life harder?
They take her back to the church where she initially summoned Leon to prepare to sacrifice her to the god. He makes fun of her nipple piercings and licks her blood off the knife they're going to kill her with. So it's cool when Leon does it. It's a crime when the other guy does it.
Yeah.
They march her to the mine and toss her in. There's like a kiddie pool depth of water down there.
Ew.
And Victoria's corpse is there as well. Undisclosed is how she died, being that Ray talked to her like a few hours ago. And that fall and depth of water clearly wasn't enough to kill anyone.
Well, she fell head first. Fall head first off your bed, you'll die. I mean,
she ends up finding an underwater tunnel and swims through it to an underground treasure trove.
That's disgusting.
That's disgusting.
Underwater anything in a cave is disgusting.
There's no source of light whatsoever, but somehow
that's literally butthole water. Like, you will never get me to.
She has no aversion to buttholes. There's no source of light whatsoever, but she can see everything in the room somehow.
Because she's a mermaid.
In a final act of desperation, she carves Leon.
This whole book is a final act of desperation. What are you talking about?
She carved Leon.
Going to school and acting like a normal person would have been regular behavior. This whole book is a final act of desperation for all of us.
In a final act of desperation.
No.
She carves his signet into her thigh with the knife that no one bothered to take from her when they kidnapped her. Leon had been laying down in the woods with his dick in his hand after having the dog shit beat out of him again.
Because naturally, that's what you do. When you're laying in the woods, you're like, let me get my dick out. A wiener.
He's going on and on about how he's going to make them all pay for what they're doing to her. And I find that hilarious because
how did that go for you last time?
right, if you had any power, then why are you sitting there with your dick in your hand?
God.
Anyway, Ray has to do everything herself. She has a run-in with the god and stabs it in the eye with the knife. In all the chaos, she ends up washing up on the shore where Leon finds her after sitting the whole finale out.
So the water just goes everywhere. It's just all connected. He could have just swam himself. This is stupid.
She goes back to school where all the professors hate her. Because,
oh, yeah, look at that school.
because they were all in this weird cult, but they can't do anything to her because she stabbed God in the eye. One day she'll go back to hell with Leon the end.
That was legitimately horrible.
I made a footnote. Ultimately, what purpose did Leon serve in this story but to pierce her nipples in the most traumatizing way possible? Because aside from killing the few little monsters at the beginning, he was too little too late for every single conflict for the rest of the story.
He had to touch her butthole, Grace.
He had to lick her puckered hole.
These are people who are writing Dick All to just write Dick All. Like,
there is no reason for me to believe that Leon is not also a security guard in hell, and that is not also his job back home.
No, you know what he is? He's one of those guys that lies about his job, and he's actually not any of those things.
He's not a security guard either.
He's not a security guard. He's not actually a demon. He's just like a shitty little...
He's just a white guy.
Yeah, okay,
Oh, no.
and she's gonna find that out later.
She's like, I let him touch my puckered hole and everything.
Really? He lives in a mobile home with no floor?
I'm gonna give you a choice to wrap it up. Would you like to participate in
No.
Where Are They Now?
I would not like to be touched by any of these people.
Or would you like to summate 3 pros and 3 cons for this story?
You already said they're gonna end up in hell someday, so that's not...
Well, you have to do the Where Are They Now. First of all, Where Are They Now could mean like
not anywhere. That doesn't-
well, they planned to go to hell, but really they ended up...
I just told you that man lives in a mobile home with no floor.
First of all, mobile homes are fine.
With no floor?
He literally...
He just told her all that stuff to make her think he was big and bad. He's not actually a demon.
I can't help but wonder if him dressing like a fake security guard is some kind of like stolen valor situation.
None of these characters are really... Like, she wanted to believe so hard that paranormal things were real that she was like, yeah, to the first person who said, I'm really a vampire. And he's not. And like a few years down the road, she's like, show me your powers. And he finally was like, I don't have any.
No, here's what happened.
And he fucking works at Ingalls.
No, like her YouTube channel ended up getting very popular, right?
No, it didn't.
Because she does
And
everything
they have
herself.
Too many kids and...
No, here, I'm gonna tell you what happened. She does everything herself. Her
You can't
YouTube channel got really,
and
really
then
popular.
say you don't like what I
She
said.
started fucking Zane because Leon is a soy boy beta cuck. So her YouTube channel got really popular. She realized that Leon being a demon wasn't all that it cracked up to be. So she started fucking Zane on the side. And then she just left and Zane didn't want to be with her either.
None of those things seem legitimate. It seems 100% more legitimate. Just like when...
Oh, that doesn't seem legitimate.
That little... You know when little girls get with youth pastors when they shouldn't because they seem so like...
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So she literally got with him because she was like, oh, he's this great thing. And then
The
she finds
actual
out...
opposite of a youth pastor.
She just finds out that he's not. 'Cause she wanted him to be one so bad. She was like, oh, he's paranormal, all this stuff. So she got with him. Later on, they're living in a burnt out trailer. He brings nothing to the table. She's like, aren't you this big bad thing? He's like, not really. And
Not really.
They have shitty jobs. And she's like, I just want to leave.
Well, you know what? At least they don't have kids. Thank you for listening to Read It and Screech. If you'd like to support God, please rate, review, and subscribe. Would you rather be paddled by Krampus or would you rather have Leon lick your puckered hole?
I'd rather be hit by a car. I'm not picking one of those.
Would you rather be paddled by Krampus
I'm
or
not.
No, here's a good this one is
I'm
doable.
choosing one of those.
This one is doable.
So horrible.
You're in hell, where you so often like to send people. You're in hell, and you have to choose to be paddled by Krampus or to be the landlord's little diaper girl.
Why do you pick the worst things I've ever heard of in my life? Both those things sound wet.
God! Would you rather be put in my ass, sold to the werewolf,
I'm not gonna do this with you.
the landlord's little diaper girl,
Disgusting things in the whole planet.
paddled by Krampus, put it in my ass,
No.
sold to the werewolf, or my landlord's little diaper girl. Honestly, sold to the werewolf.
Sold
and
to the werewolf is fine. I'll do that. I honestly don't care.
maybe they're gonna sell you to the werewolf, and all he wants is for someone to help him with some light chores around the house.
I don't care if he wants me to feed him children. I will.